In a number of locations of significant coastal wetlands, we have problems with feral pigs and a number of other pest animals. The Newrybar Swamp Feral Pig Management Committee started after a public meeting in Ballina. That particular group has been operating for over 10 years with representatives from Ballina Shire Council, local landholders, the RSPCA and National Parks and Wildlife staff.
In recent years we've had problems with feral pigs in the nature reserve where they have done significant damage to not only the nature reserve but to neighbouring properties on the Lennox Head side of the creek. The houses are actually quite close to the nature reserve, within 15 metres, and pigs actually can carry human diseases like tuberculosis, and they also can carry other diseases such as foot and mouth. So with reducing the amount of feral pigs that we have, we can then try to decrease the exposure that people can get to feral pigs.
In the past, feral pigs were a problem for council infrastructure such as the airport, the tip and the sewage treatment works, so council addressed that issue by putting exclusion fencing around those assets. But pigs continue to be a bit of a problem around the urban fringe where the swamp adjoins those urban areas. Given the conservation significance associated with Newrybar Swamp inlet, it contains a number of endangered ecological communities and also threatened species. One of those is the brolga, which is nesting on the floodplain. Feral pigs have been identified as a key threat to their breeding success.
Now that we have funding from the Northern Rivers Catchment Management Authority, we're expanding this pig control program to other significant wetlands on the north coast, such as Bungarwalben and Everlasting Swamp. These wetland areas harbour some of the richest biodiversity in New South Wales. It's really important to protect them from the impacts of feral animals, and pigs can be especially damaging. The feral pigs can severely damage agricultural crops and impact on the income of landowners. They can also damage the habitat of threatened species in our coastal floodplains. They can change the hydrology of sensitive coastal swamp forests, and they actually destroy breeding habitat for endangered species such as the emu. The feral pig management committees are bringing together councils and state government land managers with local landowners to provide effective pig control across the landscape.
I guess our role is to coordinate delivery of natural resource management at the catchment level. So in this case the Northern Rivers catchment. We're trying to deliver a coordinated approach to biodiversity conservation and natural resource management.
The outcomes have been excellent, where they've been able to target projects that really needed a high priority.
We've conducted public forums in a number of the areas, including the Newrybar, Bungarwalben and Everlasting Swamps. We've also run a school education program. We've developed plans in each of the corresponding areas, and we've been provided with funding to try and implement some of the actions in those plans.
What we've learned from our aerial surveys is that in the recent wet episodes, the pigs have spread out far and wide and become a much broader problem than they were previously. Here we can see evidence of pig activity. This is probably from last year.
We can't do as they can do out west, which is basically free range shoot, I guess, such as out of an aerial shoot out of a helicopter. It's because of the close proximity that we have to town, so we have to use other methods such as trapping, and another method that we have started using is 1080 pig out baits, which is a new 1080 product which has been specifically designed for feral pigs.
The pigs don't have to eat on the north coast. They have plenty of food, and the main thing is that you've got to get those pigs feeding, and sometimes it can take 2 or 3 weeks for them to actually get used to eating the actual corn. I don't think they'll ever be eradicated, but I believe that they certainly can be controlled, whether that be through animal-proof fencing, baiting and the trapping program. I think eventually you've got to get them down to a stage where there's very few left and they become very easy to manage.
The Strategic Feral Pig Project has enabled us to coordinate or expand on a very successful Newrybar Swamp model.
If a farmer does something, then that's good. But if all his neighbours do it as well, and that might include state forests or national parks, then that increases the impact of that control program.